let's get into the Daily Show. Because I feel like I would be remiss if we didn't touch on that. How did that come about? Where were you at in your career when you got that audition? And how was your audition?
That audition was good, man. It was a good audition. So the Daily Show, Trevor takes over 2015. Summer 2015, Trevor's announced as the new host. At that time, for me, career-wise, I was coming off of a canceled sitcom, and you know how that is, man. You own a show. Oh, I got a show. Ah, shit, they canceled us.
Yeah.
What the fuck I'm gonna do now?
Straight up.
And you're in that what the fuck am I gonna do now part of your career. And I'm getting auditions here and there, but I'm not really booking anything, man. And I'm doing a lot of stuff on ESPN. That's the one network I will give credit. ESPN, not as much now, but ESPN used to fuck with comedians hard, man. Sports Nation and His and Hers, they would have a lot of different comics in and out of those shows. And so Neil Brennan was good friends with Trevor. Neil Brennan co-created Chappelle, and Neil dropped my name to Trevor. And that was enough, to at least get me the audition. And the reason why I bring up ESPN is because doing that stuff for a year low-key prepared me. Like, that was the gym. Because sports and politics are essentially the same argument.
Right.
You really believe your side, I really believe my side.
Right.
Now let's find something funny to yell at each other. But like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's look. I would almost
that's
argue.
Skippy and Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, sports. I would argue that sports is harder to debate than politics, because sports to me is just sillier, because it's just a fucking ball.
Right.
We yelling at each other about two niggas who play with a ball. That's all it is. At least politics, it's about the fate of the nation and the future of the earth, and there's more stakes. But sports, to be that adamant about something that simple, I'm not saying sports don't matter, but the actual activity is simple. You have a ball, put it in the hoop.
Right.
That motherfucker ain't the greatest to ever put the ball in the hoop. You know who the greatest? Bill Russell, motherfucker. Like that shit is so circular.
Anybody that say Bill Russell has that voice too. It's always an old Bill Russell. You'll never hear a young voice saying Bill Russell. And so what exactly was your audition? What did they make you do at your audition to land that gig?
You have to write a chat segment where you and Trevor are talking to one another about a political issue. You write an original segment, and then you perform a segment that they wrote for you. It's very base, Can you perform the shit that our writers cook? And can you come up with something that's as good as what our writers do? We want to know that your brain already operates in that headspace. And for me, my stand-up at that point was turning a corner where, there's A and B sides to every argument. But, what I learned in my time over at ESPN as a comedian, my job is to find the third side to the argument, or the angle that you didn't consider. Because ESPN got plenty of motherfuckers sitting at the desk who can argue A and B. That's their job. They've either covered the sport for years or played the sport for years. So my job as a comedian isn't coming in to be A or B. My job is to come in and give you the perspective that you didn't consider. So the original segment that I wrote, there was a picture that came up in around 2015 of a black kid at a high school in West Virginia who has a Confederate flag tattoo on his arm. It's big. It's a black dude, black kid, elbow to wrist, full Confederate flag.
That's
tattoo.
The one that ran by you on the baseball field and said, nigger. That's
So, black people are calling him lost. White people are saying heritage, not hate, all of that. The usual argument, right? And so the angle that I presented to Trevor was that, how do we not know that this brother, he's a black man in West Virginia. He's probably scared. That shit might be camouflage.
That's funny. And
so I tried to make the argument for things you have to wear or do to get out of a place safely.
Brilliant.
You know, we don't even know if that's a permanent tattoo. Nobody's asked it. Like, so that was my, I can't remember what they wrote for me, but I remember that joke getting some good laughs on the day in the audition. And that was it, man. And
Hey, so this
got
the
the call
last
before I got to the airport.
Man, that's fire. This is the last question. What have you learned from either Trevor or just being on the Daily Show as a comedian and a performer and a writer? Like, what's the biggest thing you learned, or maybe the biggest business lesson that you've learned being a part of a show like that?
The biggest lesson I've learned from Trevor is logic first, emotion second.
Tell that to every woman in America. Can you say that again?
Now, look, I'm gonna let you say that too. I'm not. You can get me in trouble.
Hey, it's a joke, ladies. It was a joke, everybody.
Logic first, emotions second. Because if you can walk it's just, there's days when you come to work and you see the news headline and just immediately you mad. Man, can you believe they did? And you're legit angry. And the problem, or the issue, at least with anger that I've found, is that I'm not able to be funny when I'm angry. But if I've laid out an argument or laid out the points of an issue first, then I can find the places to infuse the anger. And now the anger is informed. And now that's something that's far more cutting, and funnier, so, and I'm not going to say that I nail it every time, but Trevor does it. But Trevor also came up in apartheid. So low key, everything we're experiencing right now in America, this nigga lived through. Like, he been through this. Like, this motherfucker I was born in the darkness.
Right.
You simply adopted it.
He's Bane.
Yeah. So Trevor has already been through this process. So he's able to take a step back when something incredulous happens in our administration. And he's able to dissect it from a place of calm, and then take anger and use that to kind of support the thesis. But just yelling and screaming because you're angry, it's cool, but it's not as effective as figuring out plans of action and figuring out ways to show people that they're not alone in the way that they feel, and trying to help people find a way through all of this. Because everybody's angry, but which one of us is going to sit down and try to figure out solutions to the issue, or point out parts of the issue that you would have never considered? That, to me, that's the ultimate job of the Daily Show, at least as I've seen it, in my time under Trevor. And it's changed my comedy. It's changed how I approach life in general. I try not to let emotions are there and they're real, and I'm not saying suppress them, but if you're not careful, when the time comes to really sit and figure out solutions, you can't get it because the emotion has overrun you.
I think that's very important for comedians to hear.
I'm just saying, man, bullshit pop at 2 PM, and we got a show to do, and the show is due by 3. The show is due by 5 to the satellite uplink. I ain't got time to sit in the office and be mad for 2 hours and go, can you believe that motherfucker, man? We gotta. No. What's the issue?
You should do a segment just like that. Can you believe? What? Right. I said you should do a segment just like that. Can you believe it? Mother, man.
Just outraged. God damn it, I'm mad. Tell you it was bad.
God damn it, I'm mad. That might be something.